What the?
I believe that there'd be the unexplained disappearance of millions of people.
Nurse?
Where is everyone?
Left behind, billions of unbelievers to face the end of the world. This interpretation troubles most theologians.
It's always a question for us as to whether or not we should be reading the book of Revelation metaphorically or literally.
I believe very strongly that the book of Revelation should be read as an ancient apocalyptic text. It is ancient, it came out of that world, it belongs in that world, it addresses the issues of that world.
In the first century, Rome was the enemy of Christianity. The biggest enemy of all was the Emperor Nero. For him, Christians were a convenient scapegoat. When a great fire devastated Rome in 64 AD, Nero blamed the Christians. He entertained Romans with public crucifixions of Christians. Long after Nero's death, the persecution continued. As a leading Christian, the writer John was also victimized by one of Nero's successors, the Emperor Domitian. John says he was condemned to exile off the coast of Turkey, on a small island of just 13 square miles.
The island of Patmos is a very rugged terrain, and you can see a sense of desolation there.
In this dark hour, John pens a revelation of hope to his fellow Christians. 22 short chapters, but an epic apocalypse. John writes Christ will return and destroy the persecutors.
John's intention is to depict not only the end of time, but perhaps more importantly, the destruction of the Roman Empire. If you're living in a community which is experiencing persecution, the destruction of the Roman Empire is an incredibly hopeful thing.
Typically, apocalyptic texts were written at times of difficulty, when people were going through hard times and were looking for some hope. So these texts are filled with messages of hope, how to cope with the difficulties of the present day, and how to see that God has better plans for the future.
Some who read Revelation as prophecy believe hardship will precede salvation. The salvation of the rapture.
The idea of the rapture has gained its popularity with this movement that history is going downhill and will continue to go downhill until the return of Jesus.
Adherents of the rapture say it comes straight out of the book of Revelation. Most scholars disagree.
The rapture is a very important feature of fundamentalist thinking. It doesn't have anything to do with the book of Revelation. It's pieced together different elements from different parts of the Bible that is then taught as though it comes from the book of Revelation.
In fact, the word rapture appears nowhere in the Bible. The concept was created around 1830 by a British preacher named John Nelson Darby. He combined several mysterious phrases in the letters of Paul, interpreted them as a single event, and labeled it the rapture. Yet to those who interpret Revelation as prophecy, the rapture is a key scene in their apocalypse scenario. And the rapture is just the beginning of the end. Next comes 7 years of hell on earth, a time believers call the tribulation. References to God's wrath appear frequently in the book of Revelation. The book says angels will unleash God's wrath upon the earth.
The sea will turn to blood. Really horrific kinds of things will happen. People will be beset by all kinds of catastrophes. Their skin will break out with boils. They will endure plagues.
Was John insane? Was he on drugs? I mean, nobody knows, but he was having this kind of visionary trance experience of the end of the world, and it's very, very vivid and very gross. It's War of the Worlds. It's another world coming to invade our own.
Literal believers say the rapture precedes the terror of the tribulation. And there was a great earthquake, such as was not seen since men were upon the earth. So mighty an earthquake, and so great. Revelation chapter 16, verse 18. The gigantic quake that rocked South Asia in 2004 generated a monster tidal wave that killed more than 270,000 people. The deadliest tsunami on record. Some believe the quake was a precursor to greater disasters to come. Believers also say Revelation predicts a global catastrophe from a heavenly body. And there fell a great star from heaven, burning as it were a lamp, and it fell upon the third of rivers and the fountain of waters, and many men died. Revelation chapter 8, verse 10 to 11. To support their scenario, believers seek evidence in not only scripture, but science. Although large-scale asteroid strikes are rare, believers say a huge asteroid may be destined for Earth. Recent publicity of cosmic near misses convinces many believers that the tribulation is around the corner. And these terrible times of the tribulation are symbolized by four of the most infamous characters in the Bible. The four horsemen of the apocalypse. And I saw, and behold, a white horse, and he that sat on him had a bow, and a crown was given unto him, and he went forth, conquering and to conquer. Revelation chapter 6, verse 2. The white horseman stands for conquest. The red horseman stands for war. The black horseman carries a scale that stands for economic collapse, famine, and hunger. The last horseman is the most feared. And I looked, and behold, a pale horse, and his name that sat on him was Death, and hell followed with him. Revelation chapter 6, verse 8. Believers say the arrival of the four horsemen will signal the beginning of the end. The chaos and destruction of the 7 years of tribulation.
And over half of the Earth's population will die through events that will take place during the 7-year period.
Most scholars say, relax. John wasn't describing a future apocalypse, but a clear and present danger. A feared empire to the east of Rome. The Parthians.
At the end of the first century, any Roman who would read through the book of Revelation would understand that the four horsemen sound like the Parthians galloping against the Roman legions. And they feared the Parthians, in particular, the Parthians on their white horses with their bows and arrows. That would be the image that would resonate with them.
In this apocalypse scenario, the four horsemen paved the way for the darkest figure of all. The Bible calls him the Beast. Adherents of this apocalypse scenario call him the Antichrist. They believe he will lead mankind to a final battle.